around the big questions in the spiritual journey instead of the answers. You newcomers are our life's blood. You keep us practiced in the art of welcoming the stranger. So if you'd like to receive our welcome email, please use the link or the QR code, and it will give you everything you need to make your way into our community. Welcome. We are also a community that believes the spiritual journey requires mutual support and companionship. So if you would like either of those, every day, every Sunday after the service, you may, at the end, walk on down to the library, and we have a listener who is posted, having been trained in the self-awareness process that you are going to observe demo today. Today's listener is Rosemary. Don't bother looking around because she woke up this morning in the mood to bake a cake and just sent me a text saying she's running late because the cake hasn't cooled yet. But she will be here by 11:30 to be the listener down at the library. Also, of course, you can reach out via the QR code, and if you send a message into us letting us know you need something, we will show up for you. So again, welcome. We're so glad to be together this morning. And let us affirm, as we do every week, the nature of our commitment to each other. If you are here, you belong. We are, every one of us, carriers of the inner light. We are, every one of us, carriers of divine breath. Thank you. And now I invite you to stand to greet one another, to pass the peace.
Oh, it's right here.
It's right here for my check.
Oh, do it. No, yeah.
I was told to
Do it.
do it.
I think you should do I'm Every Woman as your mic check. Turn it around. Turn that around. Turn that thought around. Yes. Yeah, the live stream. Just dancing on the live stream. It's fine.
Let's sing together. Kyrie eleison. Kyrie eleison. Kyrie eleison. Kyrie eleison. Kyrie eleison. Kyrie eleison. Kyrie eleison.
Create in me a clear heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from your presence, and take not your Holy Spirit from me. Give me the joy of your saving hope again, and sustain me with your bountiful spirit.
Kyrie eleison. 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 Christe eleison, Christe eleison, Kyrie eleison,
Kyrie eleison.
Kyrie eleison,
Kyrie eleison.
Kyrie eleison,
Kyrie eleison.
Kyrie,
Kyrie.
Kyrie eleison.
For as the heavens reach beyond earth and time, we swim in mercy, as in an endless sea. Now, you won't find this verse in the King James Version of the Bible. It's one of those translations that we talked about last week that reaches back into the ancient language to try and uncover the deeper meanings. And there is something deeply comforting to me about the concept of swimming in an endless sea of mercy. It allows me to be grounded and present to what is. And the welcome prayer helps with this too. As Doug mentioned last week, the welcome prayer isn't about welcoming any old thing. It's not about welcoming cancer. It's not about welcoming abuse. It's not about welcoming an untimely death. It's about welcoming whatever comes to us in those moments. Welcoming fear, welcoming rage, welcoming grief, welcoming any afflictive emotion that comes to us, and then it's about letting go of our compulsive needs that come from our false self-desires as we swim in mercy, knowing that in the end, all is well. The welcome prayer is a prayer we turn to in the moment in our everyday lives when something afflictive happens, but here, we practice doing it so that it comes to mind when we need it in the midst of our daily routine. When the triggers come and we want to live less yanked around by our small self reactions and live more from our truest selves. So, let's all close our eyes, take a few deep breaths. Let's inhale deeply. And as we exhale, let's think, let go. Let's inhale. Deep inhale and exhale as we let go. Just take a moment to call to mind something that triggered you this past week. Maybe it was something you saw on the news. Maybe you got stuck in the middle of a project that has a fast approaching deadline. Perhaps you feel an old friend starting to slip away. It could be anything. So just find something and sit with your emotion and say, welcome, welcome, welcome. Perhaps this emotion triggered your compulsive desire for power or control. Welcome and let go. I let go of my compulsive need for power and control. Maybe the incident triggered your compulsive need for safety and security. We say, welcome. I let go of my compulsive need for safety and security. I let go. Or it might have sparked a compulsive need for esteem and affirmation. So we welcome the emotion and we let go. I let go of my compulsive need for esteem and affirmation. And I let go of my desire to change the situation. Welcome and let go. Welcome and let go. welcome, and let go.
Stay with me, remain here with me, watch and pray, watch and pray. Stay with me, remain here with me, watch and pray, watch and pray. Stay with me, remain here with me, watch and pray, watch and pray. Stay with me, remain here with me, watch and pray, watch and pray. Stay with me, remain here with me, watch and pray, watch and pray. Stay with me, remain here with me, watch and pray, watch and pray.
Good morning, people. I had that song in my mind all week, just going over, because I heard them practicing it last week, getting ready for today. And that song has had a meaningful place in my life because it was the soundtrack for about 6 years of my life that were deeply, deeply, deeply depressed. Some of that time close to suicidally depressed. And here's what it said to me. Hold on, this isn't the whole story. Stay, hang on, this is not the whole story. And so I heard it yesterday. I don't know enough about music to know why that sounds sorrowful. I imagine the term minor key shows up somewhere. But I do know that that sorrow is part of what it means to be in the human experience and to hold on to hope in the midst of those dark times. So that's not in my notes. That was just because we sang that song. Also, I am wearing green. I organized my closet so that I just picked the shirt that comes up to the front of the line, and I had to go out of line in order to pick this because I am going to see my grandkids today, and they are not going to pinch me. Or we're going to honor the Patrick of Ireland because he was one of the most influential saints in our tradition who taught us the way of broadening our understanding of what it means to be human, what it means to live well, or we're going to avoid being pinched, one of the two. So let's see what's coming up. We've got some things, place to connect. What are you thinking on Zoom? Those of you online, we'd love you to join. Enneagram levels of development last week. Robin's going to be talking about, what is it, the head triad this week? And let's see, the Centering Prayer Group, is that next Sunday? Easter egg hunt. Bring your own picnic, children's theater performance, Common Thread, Brew Crew. You've heard all those things. Now, you're going to have to look them up. But I'll tell you in a minute where to look them up. Let's see, on Palm Sunday, that's kind of a big day for us. I would say, you know, in terms of how much preparation goes into it, as big a day, if not bigger than Easter. Because what we're going to do is we're going to have an egg hunt for the kids, and that's going to be fun. Afterwards, we're going to then create a space for one another to chat with each other if the weather cooperates. So, in advance of that time, when we get there, and it's time to go out, and you didn't bring some food, or if you did bring some food, irrelevant, you can have fun chats, food or no food. But that would require that we be nice to one another. So here's what be nice means. Look for someone who doesn't look like they're getting included. And then go out of your way to make an invitation and say, would you come sit with me? Because we all remember junior high, walking into the lunchroom, not knowing who we were going to sit with or if we're going to be invited. So make sure that we are kind. Children. What are we volunteering for?
For helping out with the Easter egg hunt.
Excellent.
All this stuff like set up and break down.
Raise your hand, people. Tell them you'll help. All right. There's two. Try and get one more. Come on. Come on. Somebody help. There we go. Derek's 3. Excellent. So this thing's coming up. We are on a campus with several other communities, and we are trying to connect with other communities. And they are very different from us. They're very different in terms of their religious beliefs. They're very different in terms of even the nationality makeup. So we're trying to connect in any ways that we can. It's why we do Rise for Hunger. We're going to do this, a children's theater performance, because we're sharing space with a community theater group. And what I've heard, it's a great thing for the kids, so go ahead, you'll want to participate in that. Let's see, I just buzzed through all of those things, so you can't possibly have figured out all the details, but you don't need the details. You just open up the email on Thursday, or you open up the app right now, or you go to the website on the front page, you can find out everything there is to find out. We are going to be ratifying our bylaws this year, hopefully leading up to the time we've got a new board in place by June. Angie's going to come up and explain that to us and tell us what's coming over the next few weeks.
Hi, good morning. I am the carrier of the government fire. What that basically means is we are moving from a benevolent monarchy, such a benevolent monarchy, to a republic to create a governance structure for this, I'm sorry to say the word institution. Some of us don't like that word, but that's actually a positive word in my mind. We're creating a government structure that can function well over transition and despite, in a sense of whoever or however our community is moving forward together to make decisions in the collective interest of our community. So next week, I'm going to do this in bite-sized pieces. But it is important over time that we communally experience how this government works. And that government is going to be vested in a document called the bylaws. All right, so we're at the point, the bylaws have to be approved by 2 non-proposing bodies, okay? The first body that has provided input is the community assembly. If you remember a while back, I stayed here on Sundays and we got feedback from members of the community who had questions about the bylaws and were interested in the bylaws. And we answered all those questions. And we decided that there seemed to be enough approval to move forward to the next non-proposing body. And that is going to be the community elders, okay? In order for the community elders to meet, we need an elder leader to be selected who will convene elders for a specific decision-making protocol, okay? So next Sunday, we're going to elect an elder leader. Now, the good news is our community is not in crisis. We're just kind of practicing. This is a laboratory kind of experience. And the good news is we have someone who wants to be elder leader to take us through this process of ratifying the bylaws. That's the only thing that elder group will be considering is, do we approve the bylaws or do we not approve the bylaws, okay? But next Sunday is an opportunity for us to practice how we elect elder leaders, okay? So Cherie Vodka has agreed that she would be happy to be the elder leader, okay? But it would be cool if we could nominate a couple other people because...
And not vote for them?
And kind of like vote for them in interesting ways because it's a ranked choice balloting process. So it would be cool if you forced me to actually make that work and we learned how ranked choice balloting works. Do you understand? So it's kind of a like we can't lose thing. We know we're gonna have a great elder leader. It also would be cool if we practiced how we nominate a competitive slate of candidates. And it would also be cool if you forced me, as the great puppet master of this, to understand if we ever are in crisis and how ranked choice balloting would actually work in terms of eliminating candidates and reassessing our balloting process, okay? So it's gonna be kind of fun. Don't get stressed out. We're just making this up as we go along and we're just practicing. But next Sunday is an opportunity to practice how we elect elder leaders through ranked choice balloting with the insurance policy in the background that Cherie has agreed to do it. And we will use that opportunity to move forward with our bylaws. Okay? I was given 3 minutes to talk, and it's 3 minutes and 27 seconds, so I gotta go. But see you next Sunday, and we'll move the ball one more step forward.
Before you go, if we would like to nominate someone who's not Cherie, would we talk to you?
Yes, that would be great, actually, because we want to do the election process next Sunday, if possible. So I'm going to nominate myself. Okay. You better not vote for me. Or actually, I need 5 people to vote for me, okay? And I need everyone else and I need probably one more candidate. So is there anyone else who would we won't put that pressure on you now. If you would,
they're in the back.
oh, good.
Looks like Jared is now agreeing to be nominated as long as he doesn't have to do the gig.
Okay. Great. This is perfect. Okay. So Jared, me, and Cherie are going to run for elder leader. Is there anyone else who would like to run for elder leader? Let me know. Otherwise, those are the 3 names that will appear on the ballot. Oh, Jim Luke. Very good. Oh, this is getting exciting. I feel like I'm at an auction. Okay. So, okay.
All right,
So
that's all the time you get.
that's all the time I have. So anyway, see you next Sunday.
So I hope you looked at the finance report this week. If you're in the directory, you will have gotten it. But if you didn't see it, then you probably need to go train your email to put that stuff into your inbox. If you've got Gmail, it'll probably go to the promotions folder for some reason. Also, you can get into the directory. Where's Julie? I saw her a moment ago. Julie's in the back. She will help you at the welcome table get into the directory if you want to. So it would be good to go to that QR code now just so you can look at what we're talking about as I go through this. You could be perusing it while I'm talking about. If you don't know how money works at Common Thread, if you go to that QR code, you will know in just a moment. So the report started. Click, next one, report. The report started and it said this: you could easily think that this is a negative financial report. And sure, $7,000 behind expenses is not ideal. But I did not at all, honestly, think of this as a negative financial report, because that highlighted number that I pointed the arrow to right there, almost $24,000, that is a very healthy increase over our average last year. If you take out November and December when people were doing their year-end giving, we were closer to slightly under $20,000 a month last year. And so now we've been, to be fair, it's only 2 months of data points, but we are averaging 23,000 a year. So I don't want behind budget to be the headline of the report. Much more relevant, I think, is that even though we've only got 2 months of data, a really good start for 2004. Thank you. You have been giving well done. Now, I have paid attention to our finances for a long time, and again, I have seen the pattern. We love this community, and we have always been generous when there has been a need. We do not talk about money very often for reasons we've discussed in the past, but when we do, there hasn't been a single time in the almost 30 years that we've been a community that we have not supported Common Thread. So that's the headline. The headline is a great start to 2024. But also, yeah, 7,000 behind expenses is not ideal. We had 2 big unbudgeted expenses last month, 2 microphones that needed to be replaced, and the food for Rise Against Hunger. Together, those were about $4,000 in unbudgeted expense. We hope that Rise Against Hunger becomes an annual thing that we participate with. It helps us connect with other communities here on campus, but it also serves in a very real way needs that are very tangible for people beyond ourselves. But we won't be drawing that from the general fund next year as we did this year. So it would take about $10 per household in our community to raise the money for the food to do Rise Against Hunger next year. Broken microphones, on the other hand, that kind of stuff just happens. It's going to happen again. But even if you take out those unbudgeted expenses, still $3,000 behind budget. Now, in the report, it said that was a we planned for it number. After your input last fall, saying that we would increase our giving together, we decided we were going to go ahead and buy some people's time to help us navigate the successful succession as Doug migrates out from being, benevolent monarch? Is that what the word? Yes. Yeah, very benevolent. Now, again, you've done that, and that really is the headline. We have increased our giving. Now, we decided to do that. We would draw down savings this year, and that way we would cover what we were spending beyond what came in on a monthly basis, essentially ensuring a successful succession plan. The good news is the $3,000 deficit is better than I thought we'd be just getting to February. Like many organizations, we took a PPP loan during the pandemic. Good on Matt and Scott and Denise, they made that work, but we didn't feel very secure about that money because who knows if they were going to ask for it back. So we didn't spend it, but it's been long enough now. We kind of felt like, okay, this is real money now, and it's just sitting there in an account. So now we've been drawing it down to make this transition, and that's where it's been. Next slide. All of which is to say, the state of the church is strong. That's a timely reference from current events, if you're paying attention. But we can only draw down savings for a finite number of months. So the request is, would you consider taking an ownership stake in our community's financial future? Sue told us at the community meeting last fall, if each household increases their giving by 30% over where we are right now, we will make this transition. For the average contributor, that works out to be about $15 a week, about $60 a month, about the price of going out for a meal. Now, we don't divide up our giving that way. We have never done it that way because some are able to give more, others able to give less, and others who haven't started giving could start. But if we all take a part, we're going to be fine. And remember, an investment here has very good return. It is difficult to put a price on the kind of transformation I have, and I know many have experienced here. The process you're going to see today up here. That has been transformative in my life, and I know that it's been transformative in many of our lives. And there is, when we invest in community, a good return on our investment. So that's the monthly financial report. Go to the QR code, see how it works. Sue, come on up.
So Joe, Melissa, and Shelby have really been knocking it out of the park lately, haven't they? You've been here, you know. Yep. So this song that they're going to do right now, it uses an old church hymn, and it brings it back to life with new lyrics. Lyrics that inspire us to move beyond the old stories we've always told ourselves and spend the rest of our lives learning a new way to be. And in a few minutes, we're going to watch a demonstration of a practice that helps us do this on the regular. But first, let's listen, and for the last two verses of this song, please join in.
I was lost in utter darkness. I was trapped in toxic shame. I was bound by my religion till I chose to make a change. Now I'm finding my true colors. For the first time, I feel free. Now I'm learning self-compassion. As I heal, I'm finding peace. I kept others at a distance, those who live life differently, saw the world in right or wrong, but they're all human just like me. I stepped out and love expanded us, and then melted away. Beauty found in every difference. As I listen, I'm amazed. I saw danger in my questions. I took captive all my thoughts. Certainty was my salvation till I questioned what was taught. Now my eyes are wide in wonder, mind set free now to discern. I might not have all the
chose to make a change. Now I'm finding my true colors. For the first time I feel free. Now I'm learning self-compassion. As I heal, I'm finding peace.
So Christy Phillips excuse me, and Laura Thabit are two people Maria and I have come to know very well over the past few years. They are skilled practitioners in the art of self-awareness, and I love what Maria said about them a few days ago in the car. They both have a profound ability to hold space and bear witness to another coming into being. I hope you'll pick up on some of that as they demonstrate the practice today. Christy and Laura, come on up, and thank you for doing this for us.
Because it could be kind of scary.
It was such a great introduction, but no pressure.
Skilled practitioners. Hi, Laura.
Hello, my friend.
It's nice to see you.
It is good to see you, too.
Thank you for being my listener today.
I'm honored.
And I am honored as well. Before we start, I just wanted to say a big thank you to Doug for creating this process for us and making it a tool that I've been using for 7 years. Yeah, about 7 years. And it's been pretty great. Okay,
Okay,
let's
ready?
begin.
Okay. So, tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I know on the worksheet it says, what is my Enneagram type? And that gives me a little bit of a roadmap sometimes, if I know. And I know that I am an Enneagram 2. And what that means for me is that my primary motivation is love and affirmation, and to elicit a positive reaction from others. And I also have a strong one wing, which means I believe in right and wrong and rules. And I also have 6 in my tri-type, which means I worry all the time about the worst possible outcome. And I have some 9 in there too, which means I hate confrontation. Some things that I think I'm good at, or that I like about myself. I think I'm frugal. I'm responsible. I think I'm likable. some things that I think I could improve upon, or that I don't like about myself, or that I'm gullible, I'm unknowledgeable about certain topics. Sometimes I don't pay enough attention to details, and I miss those details. And I can be needy.
I have to write everything down.
That's because you're a good listener.
Exactly. And a slow writer. Okay, so what I just heard from you, you are an Enneagram 2. You have 6 and 1 and 9 that you all pull from. And some things that you like about yourself. You are frugal, you are responsible, and you are likable. Some things that you don't love or that you could improve upon are that you are gullible. You can be gullible, you can be unknowledgeable. Sometimes you don't pay enough attention to details, and you can be needy.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add to that?
No.
Okay. Tell me about the episode.
The episode. So, the episode that triggered me. I was rear-ended and had my car in the shop being repaired. And my mechanic said that the insurance company of the person who hit me would not pay their full labor rate, and so I would be responsible for paying the difference, which was about $300.
And what happened in your body?
Oh, well, it's funny because I didn't remember when I was going through these questions. I didn't remember right away. I kind of had to relive the experience because I'm not super in touch with the movements in my body. And so as I relived the experience, what I noticed was immediate increased heart rate, change in breathing. My stomach felt very heavy and clenched. And I was also had a lot of heat in my chest and tightness there. And I had an ache in my jaw, and then I had an ache in my forehead as well. So that was my physical reaction. And then the feelings that I had, felt enraged. Oh, enraged. I felt overwhelmed.
Tell me about ashamed.
I think ashamed and humiliated kind of go together because I believed that I was being made a fool of, that I was foolish, that I was being exploited for my lack of knowledge about auto repair and cars.
Excellent. Let's move on to the thoughts.
The thoughts, okay. There were many thoughts. I was thinking that everyone was lying about, the mechanic was lying about what their labor rate should be, and the car insurance agency was lying about what was a fair labor rate, and I was thinking I was being abused by both of them. I was being ambushed in order to trick me into paying money I shouldn't owe. I was being cheated out of my money. I was thinking I was being violated and disrespected. I was thinking that I was incompetent because I must have overlooked some important detail in the policy and in the contract. I must not be competent with my money. These people are exploiting my weakness to take what I've worked so hard to earn. And people are generally bad and will destroy me if I don't protect myself. Those are a few of my thoughts. I know, it's hard to write all that down.
I managed. I'll just comment on how amazing our spacing is on this worksheet for me to take all these notes. Okay, so I'm going to summarize what I heard. And if there's anything else that you'd like to add, pause me. So the episode, you were rear-ended and you took your car into the mechanic shop. The mechanic said that the insurance won't pay the difference in their labor prices and what insurance is willing to cover, and so you would be responsible for the difference, which was about $300. The reaction in your body, your heart rate increased, your breathing changed, you had heat in your chest, you noticed your stomach clenching, and you had a jaw. You had an ache in your jaw. You did have a jaw, but you had an ache in your jaw, and you also had an ache in your forehead. The feelings that came up were enraged, overwhelmed, ashamed, humiliated, and the thoughts. Everyone is lying about their rates, both the mechanic and the insurance company. You were ambushed and abused. You were being cheated out of your money. You were violated and disrespected. You were seen as incompetent. You were incompetent for not looking over every single detail in the fine print. And then they were exploiting your weaknesses. And people are bad and will destroy you if you don't protect yourself. Is there anything else that you want to add to that?
I think that there's a gender flavor to all of this.
Mm-hmm.
There is, I am a woman, and these are primarily men who are in control of these decisions. And they are trying to dominate me with the knowledge that I don't have.
Mm-hmm. Anything else before we explore the story?
No.
Okay. So, what fears got triggered?
Oh, well, so many fears. I'm afraid of being manipulated and controlled. I'm afraid of being vulnerable because people will use my weaknesses to take what they want from me and leave me with nothing. I'm afraid that this weakness will leave me financially unstable and unable to take care of myself and my family. I fear the loss of power and control, that I'm not strong and powerful enough to protect myself from being cheated, that as a woman I'll be violated over and over again because I'm an easy target, that I'm afraid that the strengths that have been cultivated in me as far as how to be a woman will be exploited, the softness and the yielding and the nurturing strengths that I have. And that will render me defenseless. I'm afraid of loss of safety and security. Again, defenseless. I'm afraid that maybe I'm not likable. And because if I was likable or of value, then people wouldn't want to try to cheat me. They would want to try to protect me. And that my coping strategy that I've cultivated isn't working. I'm afraid of that. That's coping strategy to stay safe in the world.
I think I got most everything, but there was one thing that I missed.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read what I wrote, and
Yeah.
please fill in the blank. So you were afraid of being manipulated, controlled, of being vulnerable, and having your weakness exploited. That last one on the list, I did not write that one down. What came after being exploited?
I'm afraid of the loss of safety and security. that I will not have the defenses to protect myself from people who want to cheat me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to, afraid of being vulnerable, afraid of having your weaknesses exploited, and a loss of safety. You feared loss of power and did, especially as a woman, and feeling defenseless and being defenseless. And then the loss of love and affirmation.
And the loss of the coping strategy that I use to keep myself safe. Being likable and pleasing and accommodating and all those things. Deferential. Mm-hmm. Not working. They still want to take my money.
Anything else you'd like to add to that list?
No.
Okay. How is your image threatened?
So I said in the things that I liked about myself that I'm responsible. And so I was thinking, obviously I wasn't responsible. And I didn't read the fine print. So I went and I reread the contract, and I didn't miss anything. But my first reaction was, I must have missed it. I'm not being responsible. And I didn't pay attention to the details. And then the other thing was about being needy. Like, can I handle this by myself, or do I need someone with more knowledge to step in and take care of this for me? Because I see myself as pretty independent as well, and I don't like that neediness, like that I would need something from someone else and for a basic function in life. And also, when it comes to cars and repair of cars, who am I going to need to ask for help? Yeah. I'm going to have to probably, I mean, not always, but stereotypically reach out to a man for some help.
Yes. Yes.
Either that or take a crash course in auto mechanics, which I'm not willing to do.
No?
No. Don't care. And then finally, if I was frugal, I wouldn't be paying for something that I didn't plan for. I have a very carefully constructed budget, and being cheated out of my money is not part of my budget. Not part of the plan.
If you were truly frugal, this expense wouldn't have happened or would have been budgeted for?
Frugal would have been budgeted for. Responsible and paid enough attention to details wouldn't have happened.
Okay. I'm going to pause here and recap this section before we move on to the unmet need, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, tell me if there's a word that stands out you want to pull on.
Okay. So you were afraid of being manipulated, controlled, of being vulnerable, of having your weaknesses exploited, and loss of safety. You had fear around not being strong enough to protect yourself, fear around being exploited as a woman and being defenseless, and fear around not being likable, again, leaving you defenseless, and fear around loss of your coping strategies. Your image was threatened in that you were not responsible. You didn't pay attention to the details, even though you actually did. But the fear was there. And if you were truly frugal, this expense would have been budgeted for. If you were truly responsible, you would have foreseen this expense. And your image of not being needy, or the thing that you don't like about yourself of being needy, was triggered in that, do I need to have someone else step in and help me and have it most likely be a man?
And I do love men. Yes, and I would like to bring back the word violated.
Tell me about violated.
I think that's the word that I'm feeling the most resonance with, the most connection to. And I guess that's associated with a person with more power using that power to injure someone with less power, me. The destructive use of power.
Okay, so violated being the sticky point right now. And a person, a rodent man, underneath that, with more power, using their power to harm you and the destruction of that power.
Yes.
Okay.
Would you like to know my unmet need?
I would love to know your unmet need.
Let me tell you. I needed that insurance agency to say, I'm so sorry, we've made a horrible mistake. You are right. Thank you for your careful research into fair labor rates. I will fix this immediately and make sure that the entire bill is covered. I was actually being a little bit dishonest, and I admit that. I acknowledge that I was lying to you, but I respect you as a person so much that I'm going to admit that. And I'm going to make this right immediately. That's what I needed.
Was there anything else? And have you felt this way before?
Violated and humiliated and controlled and punished. I guess, and cope and be safe in the world was largely an effort by the 3 women who raised me. I had 2 grandmothers and 1 mother who primarily raised me. And they each gave me very different perspectives about safety and power and being a woman. And what I saw was my maternal grandmother, who was my primary caregiver, was widowed very young. And she had financial stability and independence over her money. And I really respected her, and I really felt safe and stable with her. And then I had my mother, who was divorced and without child support, and she was dependent on my grandmother my whole life for help. And then there was my paternal grandmother, who was raised and raised a family in the Appalachian Mountains. And she was controlled and dominated and humiliated. And she had no education and no money of her own. I don't believe that she was respected by her husband. And when my grandfather died, she didn't know how to manage her money, and my uncle had to step in and help her and tell her what to do with her money, because she would have probably given it all away to family members who asked her for it. So this affected her independence and her choices, and I kind of observed all of those things and decided which way I wanted to go. And I was very much wanted to be like my maternal grandmother, independent, safe and secure. And her message to me growing up was, based off of being born in 1913, you know, to be safe in this world, you must be very pleasing. You must be very accommodating. You must never question authority, and by authority, I mean men. And absolutely never rock the boat. And what you want is secondary to how people will perceive you.
Will you repeat that last line for me?
What you want is secondary to how people will perceive you. It's very important how people perceive me because that's how you stay safe. That's what makes people want to protect you in an unsafe world. And so I brought all of that information into my marriage, and very quickly my desire for independence became surrendered to my desire to be safe. And so I released that control and deferred to the head of the household. And as a result was, in my opinion, abused and violated.
If these recordings help you move forward on your spiritual journey, we hope you'll take an ownership stake in the community.
Is that my phone doing that? Okay. That was a really poignant moment for As a result, I was violated and disrespected and controlled and lied to. My name was put on documents I didn't sign. I was, my credit was exploited. I was kept out of decision-making about what to do with our combined money. And then after our divorce, I was controlled through child support. You give me what I want, or I will not support our children.
Okay. I'm going to repeat back.
Are you?
I'm going to repeat back what I wrote down, and hopefully it's what you said and not just what I heard. Okay. So revisiting the unmet need. You needed the insurance company to step in, fix it, make it right, pay the difference, and apologize, and really fall over and worship at your feet for being this fabulous independent woman that can handle her own things. And to own up to their dishonesty. You have felt these feelings before. Everything that got triggered in this episode, you can tie back to childhood experiences. With I'm finding the section in my notes. Okay, so from your mom and your maternal and paternal grandmother, from their experiences and watching them, you learned how to be a woman and how to navigate the world. You watched your maternal grandmother be financially stable and independent and have autonomy over her financial decisions. You watched your mother not be stable or independent and have to depend on your grandmother to be financially stable. And your paternal grandmother, her experience was one of being dominated, controlled, and disrespected by her husband and financially. When her husband died, your grandmother did not know how to manage her own money and had to rely on your uncle.
My uncle.
To navigate any financial decision. All of my notes are now going everywhere. So what you learned is that to be safe in this world, you must be pleasing, accommodating, and never ever question a man. What you want is secondary to how people perceive you, and this is how you navigate the world safely. In your marriage, you released control to your husband and you were violated, disrespected, financially exploited, and locked out of financial decisions. And then through your divorce, you were controlled through child support. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
No, thank you. You heard me. I feel heard.
Wonderful.
Would you like more paper?
I managed to fit it. It's
Okay.
just flowing all over the page. Okay. So, the pattern.
So I worked on a few different patterns. I thought about I am not safe because I'm defenseless, I'm not worthy of respect. But what I landed on was because I am a woman, I was created to be victimized. Because it seemed like as I peeled the layers and went a little bit under and a little bit under, that was at the bottom of the thoughts. So I think all those thoughts together can be combined into a summary statement.
So even though everything can be combined in the summary statement, I missed the second thing that you said, and I want to repeat it back to you, but I don't have it written down.
That's okay. I was, because I am a woman, I was created to be victimized.
I got that one. So what I have written down is, I am not safe because I am defenseless.
Oh, the other ones.
Yes.
I'm not worthy of respect.
I am not worthy of respect. So we had two potential patterns, but we landed on a summarizing, deeper pattern. The higher level patterns. I am not safe because I am defenseless, and I am not worthy of respect. But the deeper, ickier, stickier pattern is that because I am a woman, I was created to be victimized.
Ouch. Ouch.
Ouchie. So, do we want to question it?
Please.
Okay.
I would like to question. I feel like it's time to let that one go. That's been a tab running for 51 years now. I'm ready to let it go. It's not serving me anymore.
No.
It's kind of holding me back.
And it sounds like it's causing a little bit of pain.
A little bit.
Just a smidge. Okay, so because I am a woman, I was created to be victimized. Is it true?
Yeah. Yes, it's true.
Yes.
Yes, it's true in many ways. I think that there is a mindset that is legitimate here. You know, I'm not the only one that was raised with this thinking. Women and men have been raised to think this way. And it's changing, it's evolving, but my generation is still here, and the ones before it are still here. And it still colors how we think and how we treat each other and what makes us scared and the choices that we make.
Yes.
So it's partially true.
Because I am a woman, I was created to be victimized. Is it 100% absolutely always true?
It is not
Okay.
100% absolutely always true.
Tell me about your no.
I did push back, and I got my money back. Now, 2016, Christy would not have pushed back. I would have accepted my fate. Another way I know it's not 100% totally true is I went back to the beginning of this journal, which was gifted to me by my now 17-year-old in 2020. And I reread this morning, and I had forgotten about it. So this was 4 years after the separation, and now 4 years ago. So 2 years into this process, and she said, I got you this book for a few reasons. One, because when I hold it, it makes me feel powerful. You are many things, and you are most definitely powerful. You have the power to do anything you set your mind to. I know, because I've seen you transform yourself into a much happier and healthier person than you were only a few years ago. I admire you for your ability to identify a problem in your life and solve it because it's what's best for you, even when you're afraid it might cost you the affection of your loved ones. It may take you a moment to act on a problem, but your awareness is astounding, and you will get where you're destined to go.
It was beautiful.
She's 14. She was 14.
Uh-huh.
So, and she's never done a worksheet.
Yes. Yes.
I did that without crying.
Yeah, but I'm teary-eyed. Okay, so what I hear from you is that because I am a woman, I was created to be victimized. It's not always 100% of the time true. One example of this not being true is you pushed back. You defended yourself and got your money back. And you have, through the eyes of your children, an example of you being powerful and you creating your own happiness, of you transforming your life and yourself, and of you facing your fears and surviving them. So, when you believe the pattern, when you believe because I am a woman, I was created to be victimized, how do you react?
I'm less connected to hearing my inner wisdom because instead I'm listening to the inner voice saying, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not safe enough. I hold back because I don't trust my intuition, my gut. I don't even listen to my gut. I listen to other people's guts. I make more choices out of fear. I don't advocate for what I need. I feel angry and resentful, and then I feel bad that I felt angry and resentful. I'm afraid that I'm vulnerable and easy to take advantage of, and so I take fewer risks and settle for less than I could really have. Which ends up constricting my freedom and my choices, and I have loss of agency over my life because I'm ensnared in this underlying thinking pattern.
So when you believe the thought, you react by experiencing less connection to your inner wisdom. You listen more to your inner critic. You don't trust or listen to your own intuition and gut. You are fearful, angry, and resentful. You take fewer risks. You settle for less. And you have a loss of agency.
Yes.
Anything else to add to that list?
No.
Okay. If you couldn't think the thought, if you had no access to this pattern of because I am a woman, I was created to be victimized, who would you be?
Well, I would make more choices that are best for my well-being. I would say no more often. to things I don't want to do. I would say yes to things that scare me. I would take risks and accept failure as growth instead of a confirmation of lack of self-worth. I would approach life with more curiosity than fear. I would respect myself. I would trust myself. I would love myself more. I would feel more free to be angry.
Woo!
I would feel and accept and welcome that anger as more wisdom and opportunity to release things that don't serve me. I would do more things I enjoy and laugh louder. I would be more free because I would choose from a place of abundance and not fear. I would be free to know what truly serves me rather than just what seems to protect me short term. I would have maybe less money, but more harmony, a sense of peace that comes from knowing that I am in flow with the universe and can't be otherwise. And knowing that I'm always safe and can't be otherwise. And I would be living in a place of unity consciousness because if I am a victim, then I have to create a villain to hold that dynamic up, which means I don't interact with people with full authenticity. I saw this man at this insurance policy people. I saw him as a total asshole with no redeeming human quality because it was my brain wanted to collapse him into a two-dimensional caricature of a human so that I could hate him. But when I am free, I can see him with compassion and think, he probably doesn't want this job. He probably doesn't like corporate greed. He's probably just trying to make a living and feed his family. And that means there's no me and him, it's we. That's unity consciousness. And so what that means is that my interactions with other people, even people who anger me or threaten me, I can still see them as human. And humanizing people is everything. It's the way forward in healing the world, and it's forgiving this man and loving myself and respecting myself in a way I couldn't get from him is my small now doable to healing the world because I'm healing myself and therefore bringing my best self to the world. And that's going to be huge when it comes to conflict resolution and seeing and hearing people that are different from me. Yeah. I think I can do all of that compassion stuff without being subservient, you know. There's the whole do no harm, take no shit, right? I can still assert myself and protect myself and take care of myself and have compassion for him as a human. And I'm singling out this one person because he's the one that is symbolic of this whole interaction.
Okay.
So we're going to turn that around now.
But I want to summarize this back to you. I'm going to take the time to summarize it back. It won't be but a minute. You had so many good insights. Okay, so when you do not believe the pattern that because you are a woman, you were created to be victimized, when you don't believe it, who you are is someone that makes choices aligned with your higher good. You say no more often, you take risks, you say yes to the things that bring you joy. Your mistakes are growth instead of proof of your unworthiness, so-called unworthiness. You respect yourself, you trust yourself, you love yourself. You feel free to feel and experience your anger. You pursue joy and you laugh louder. You choose from abundance instead of scarcity. You have more harmony and peace in the knowledge that you are in the flow. You experience safety and unity consciousness. There's less villainization of others, and there is compassion for others and compassion for yourself without sacrificing or minimizing yourself.
Oof. I felt that deep down. And I also want to point out, you just said no to Doug.
I did. Well, that's the best part of the worksheet, that last question.
All right.
Can't skip that.
Can't skip it. All right, let's turn it around.
Turn it around.
So if my pattern was I was created to be victimized, then my turnaround is I was not created to be victimized. And I was created to be strong and powerful. And I think there's just one more turnaround, but Jean, I think the last turnaround has to come from Shaka Khan. Yes.
Super well done. And we're gonna have just a couple of minutes for questions, thoughts, and all that. But first, how would you like to have Christy, Laura, or any of our trained listeners hold space and bear witness to your coming into being? Well, here's your first step. Download and do a worksheet. And the QR code here will take you to the page where you can download one. Also, just if you go to the website, Jen has just recently rearranged it. It's really easy to access. If you go to Get Involved, hit the drop-down menu, go to Self-Awareness, and you can download this right from the website, and it's also in the app if you are in the Self-Awareness group. Just request to join if you like. Next thing, you might be interested in joining a practice group. Now, we're going to be forming these in May, but what the practice groups do for us is they give us the opportunity, obviously, to practice and to see people doing this again and again so that we get more comfortable doing the worksheet, becoming a listener. If you want to become a listener, you need to join this group. But if you join a group, you don't have to become a listener. That's up to you. But we do require that people go through a lot of practice to be a listener, understandably, because it's a process that's it's not as easy as what you just saw. But this is no commitment at all. If you go ahead and hit that QR code, we're just collecting names now. We will get back to you after the Spiritual Practices Retreat that we're going to hold on April 27th. So that particular... what am I saying here? So we're going to do another on-campus retreat. We did this in September. This one's going to be a little different. You might enjoy this one more. We're going to put more of a focus on embodied spiritual practices, nervous system regulation, breath work, chant, dance, movement, drum circles. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to have another self-awareness demo that day and give you the opportunity to process with trained listeners if you like. So we'll have a full lunch. There's no fee, but we are absolutely accepting donations when you register to cover our expenses. What's a day like this worth? I say probably about $75 if you walk somewhere else to get it, but we want to make sure it's accessible to everyone. So it is a donation-based thing. Give what you can. We'll have more info about this in the coming weeks. So I hope you will avail yourselves of these resources, these opportunities. And in the meantime, we'll have a very brief, like I said, What Are You Thinking session in the room, and you all online can do the same. There's a link in the YouTube comments that will get you into a Zoom room where Scott is leading a discussion about what we did and learned here today, and you'll need a code to get in. I forgot to say that last week, and I apologize. The code is 1417. And there's another link in the comments for those of you interested in becoming more regularly involved with our online community. So if you want to learn more and feel more connected, go to the form at that link as well. Someone will be thrilled to reach out to you with more information about our community. So as we dismiss our friends on the live stream, folks in the room, let us put one hand over our hearts and remember that the divine indwells each one of us, which means the fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, they're all in us, needing us to nurture them so that we might share them with the people around us. So let's extend our other hand to our city and our world, committing to share what is in us with the people with whom we live, go to work, and go to school, with everyone we encounter, taking seriously our charge to heal and repair our world. Amen. Live stream folks, God bless you. You are dismissed. Folks in the